Good Sunday morning. We appreciate you tuning in. I'm John North. You're watching Inside Tennessee. My co-moderator, John Becker, is away. This morning, we're talking politics. Can you imagine? It's actually political season. We've got an election coming up November the 8th, and our guest this morning is on the ballot. His name is Mark Harmon. He is one of the candidates running to be the next congressman for the 2nd Congressional District in East Tennessee. Tim Burchett will also be on the ballot. Before we talk to Mark, however, let's introduce you to our panelists. You may recognize their faces, and I promise you, one day they'll actually be in the studio with us, and we will celebrate with party hats and all of that. We've got Don Bosch, who is a Democrat and an attorney here in Knoxville, and Susan Richardson Williams, who is a Republican and runs her own PR firm. Good morning, my friends.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Appreciate you being here. Mark Harmon, as I said, is the Democrat running for the 2nd Congressional seat. Tim Burchett is the Republican and the incumbent. We invited Tim Burchett to be on with us. He's not on with us. So we appreciate Mark Harmon being on with us. Mark is a journalism professor at UT and is a former Knox County commissioner. Mark, I'll just ask you the basic question before the tougher panelists ask you the harder questions. My question is, why run for Congress?
Well, thank you for asking. Why run for Congress? Because right now, Congress is not serving the needs of everyday people, of working families. I'm a person who believes in giving back. You know, I grew up in a family that was not poor, just broke. And I really appreciated things like, well, college loans and grants and opportunities for jobs and opportunities to get into college. And I want to make sure that those things are preserved. I want to also protect women's rights, including the right to an abortion. I want to expand our healthcare opportunities, including a public option. And so those are some of the things that drive me. It's really about giving back. A lot of doors were opened for me, and I'd like to use Congress as an opportunity to open doors for others, especially by increasing the minimum wage and making more college grants available.
Appreciate it. All right, let's hear from the panelists. Susan, you can start. First question.
Sure, thank you. Commissioner, you are a university professor, as you said, and President Biden recently, through executive order, signed an order that would forgive student loans up to $20,000. Is that something you support? Do you see that kind of support among Knox Countyans and the rest of the district? A lot of my friends are very upset because they have paid their own student loans off, not from government assistance. So I'd like to see where you stand on that.
Well, sure, I'd be happy to speak on it on several levels. First, I don't think we should be so cold and cruel as to say, I suffered, therefore you have to suffer. I think it is reasonable to have some debt forgiveness, and I think the president's plan was quite reasonable. What I would like to do is work on the other end, so we never have to build up that much debt, that students never graduate in as much debt. I would just like to see us dramatically increase the number of grants available so we can have fewer loans and therefore less loan debt. In Tennessee, we made a good start with that. I'll give credit to Republicans, former Governor Haslam and Randy Boyd put together some reasonable proposals. The rest of the nation has to do some of that. But really at the federal level, we have to increase grants, and therefore we never run into that huge a problem again in the future.
Mark Harmon, I'm going to jump in. So let me jump in, Susan, real quick.
Okay.
I'm somebody who had student loans. That's the only way I could have made it, scholarships and student loans. I paid them off. I wouldn't have ever conceived of somebody helping me out, but it's changed. Nobody of my age thought about getting any kind of relief. Today, we hear so much about students or graduates saying, I'm just staggering. What changed?
What changed was the amount. It just became a regular feature. You could get loans frequently through banks, often at compounding or exorbitant rates. And unfortunately, there is a partisan difference here. This started way back with the Reagan administration when they cut back on the amount of money going to schools proportionally per student. And it only got worse at state levels. And pretty soon, the only option for students was no longer a series of grants, but a series of loans, and debt built up proportionally. That's wrong. I want to correct that 40-year bad pattern. If I pull off this win, when I pull off this win, that'll be at one of the top items on my agenda.
Susan, I interrupted
Well, let me
you.
just follow up with that, if you don't mind. Tennessee seems to be in a really good place when it comes to helping students go to the university and certainly to technical schools. We have the Hope Scholarship. We have another Tennessee grant that's $1,000 a year. A lot of students get the Pell Grant. And at the University of Tennessee, thanks to Randy Boyd, there is now the UT Promise. So if you're from a lower income family, you actually can go to the University of Tennessee free. So aren't we in pretty good shape at the University of Tennessee and in Tennessee in general?
We are in better shape than many states, and I will thank the people who did that. But we're not in perfect shape. You say you go to free. Well, you go tuition free. These are last dollar programs that get up to the cost of your tuition. Well, students know that there's more to it than tuition. There's room and board, books, other things. And because of that, we still need assistance to students. We still need to make sure that program works. And when I pull off this win, I'll make sure that works for all our working families, really because we need that social mobility. We don't need people trapped out of college, forced out of college, when they could be the next person to establish a great business or find a medical cure or help a charity rise and improve lives. We can't afford to lose all those good minds because we can't look to the future and see we need this.
We have to take a break here real quick, but I want to have Don Bosch start. Once we come back from the break, we can pick up with that, or Don, if you want to go with another thread, that's fine. And I'll just remind you, on the last Sunday of September, you are watching Inside Tennessee. We'll be back in just a minute.